Hello and good morning. It's me again, Angie. It's so crazy bringing to you our Sampler 2, block number 9. Create a memory, and I have it behind me here. It's the last one over here. That's a really pretty block. Actually, all of them are really pretty. I've really enjoyed all of these different blocks and all the different ways to create those blocks. So let's go ahead and get started with our cutting measurements. I don't have the cards, so we're going to do like we did last week. And so follow with me. If you have the book, you have the measurements. If you do not have the book, just get your pencil, your paper ready, and let me go ahead and rattle those off to you, okay? I think this one is going to be a lot easier. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of different pieces as some of the others have had, so that makes it nice. But let's go ahead and get started with our first is going to be our letter A, and you need 5 5-inch squares. Our letter B here, you need 12 2 3/4 by 5-inch rectangles. Our letter C, you need 4 2 3/4 inch squares. Letter D, you need 4 2 3/4 inch squares. E, you need 8 2 3/4 inch squares. Our letter F is 4, you need 4 of these 2 3/4 inch by 5-inch rectangle. G, you need 4 2 3/4 inch squares. Our letter H, you need 24. Yikes, that's a lot. 24 2 3/4 inch squares. Still not as bad as what we've had though, with a lot of different fabrics. At least that's all coming from one fabric. And then our last one is our 2-inch square that goes into each corner of the block, and that is 4 of these at 2 inches, letter I. Okay, so hopefully that you got all of that down, and we'll go ahead and get started. All right, so now we can get started. This, I went ahead and pulled this off just like I did last week. One of the girls had done this block for me. This is our Create a Memory block. And so I wanted to go ahead and just kind of go through like we did last week, because I am going to have to go through and kind of resize some of the pieces that were previously cut. And again, I think like I said last week, I'm second guessing using things that you can see how it's not really lining up very well. But you know, I'm just going to go with it for right now. I'm not going to worry about taking it out, and it'll be great. It'll be great, right? So let's go ahead and get started. Our very first piece, which is what we've done with every single one of these, you guys should know this by heart now, but we're going to take our letter C, which is one of our background pieces, and our letter I. We are going to mark our letter I on the diagonal so that we know where our stitch line is going to be. Okay. So I marked wrong side of this piece. It goes here, just like all of the other pieces. So if you look at it this way, it's my right hand, or my left hand, I'm sorry. My left hand is where this begins, and then it goes up. All right, so if you're sitting there and you're looking at it, your diagonal should go straight up to the right. And you're going to take that over, you're going to stitch on your line so that when you come back, this will fold over to create one new piece. And you will, let me lay that back down there, you will line this up with your ruler, your 1/4 inch marking. So right here is my 1/4 inch marking. And I will trim this piece off here and go ahead and press that, and you will have, it'll be just like that, just like all of the other corner pieces that we've done. And we are going to go ahead and set this aside. You are creating these 4 pieces that are in the block here, those 4 corners, okay? So we'll set that piece aside. And then next we need our letter H and our letter B. Let's see, letter B, okay, and that's one of your rectangles. And our letter H, which is one of our 2 3/4 inch squares out of that 24 pile. Okay, and this time you're going to mark. So mine is the red piece. You're going to mark that 2 3/4 inch piece so that you can stitch on that line. Okay, and what we're going to do, you've done many of these, so you should know what you're doing here. But we're going to take, and this time it's going to start with the point, because this is going to end up being your point. So you want your line to start on your right side and go up to the left side this time, so that when you bring it over and trim it, it's going to bring that piece over just like this, okay, to start to create your arrow. So what we're working on right now are all of these pieces right here, all of these with the arrow. And you're going to do that, you're going to stitch that here, and then you'll come over, you'll line up your ruler with your 1/4 inch. You're going to trim this piece off and press. It's very important to make sure that you are pressing this, doing one at a time and pressing it open, because then that leaves you a hole. When it's pressed, it's like one piece of fabric. So when you go back over and you get that second piece, let's say that I have that diagonal line drawn on there, and I lay that down, then see that's going to go right on top of that, and it will stitch out smoothly. Otherwise, you are going to have little bunches, little gathers, whatever, if that's not pressed out, and it's going to be bumpy and sloppy. So we don't want that. We're working too hard on this. So you're going to go ahead and do both of these, and you're going to make 8 of the flying geese. And when you get this all done here, this is going to measure 2 3/4 by 5 inches. So make sure that you're trimming off any excess that you may have on each one of these. Again, you're going to have 8 completed pieces, and that's each one of these flying geese right here. Okay, and I think I forgot to say your corner piece here, you need to make sure that that's measuring 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. Okay, and I'm going to set this aside. All right, the next step, and kind of like what we did last week as well. So we're going to take our F, letter F, which is our rectangle piece, and we're going to take G. All my pieces wanted to stick together. Do you guys have that problem too? Okay, there's G, and then letter D. Okay, those are going to be side by side, and it's going to be like we did last week. We had this piece here, so we flip our letter D on top of our letter G, and we're going to stitch a 1/4 inch on this end here, and then you're going to press that, so that will be open like this. And when we come back and we lay this down, we flip this piece on top to stitch our 1/4 inch. We press that, open that all back up, and you need to make 4 of this unit, and they should measure 5 by 5, 5 inches by 5 inches. And this here is creating this block. So it's kind of like the inner star here. These are our little stars going around where we just made all of these points, and we are going to make what's going to surround. We're going to make these 4 blocks here, okay? And when we do finish these 4, we want to go ahead and we want to take one of our corner blocks with one of our flying geese or our arrow, whatever you want to call it. And what we're looking at here is just this area, okay? So we have our corner block in our flying geese. You want to flip that corner block on top of here and stitch. And then you want to take one of the flying geese here and flip it onto the block that we just created. And you want to stitch that here. You're going to press that, bring this over. This is going to go on top of here, and then you're going to stitch. And you're going to do that in each one of these quadrants. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? And that will complete this block here. When you do get these all together, this needs to measure 7 1/4 inches. Okay? And let me set that aside. And then the next step is we're going to, okay, our fabric E, A, B, C, D, E. We're going to take our fabric E, okay, and we are going to okay, we're doing it on E and on H. All right, what we're going to work on next is this area. So we are going to take the 5-inch block, which is one of our background pieces here, okay? And we are going to lay this down, and we will take our E and an H. Let's go ahead and draw our diagonal. And I'll go ahead and I'll do for each one of these so you guys can see how this, line that all up. All right, so you're going to do these one at a time, because remember, it's very important to do one at a time so that you have the way to be able to, once this goes on like this, because we're going to make it to where it's a flying geese going this way and a flying geese going this way, or it's an arrow going that way to create the diamond in the center. And so if I just line them up like this, but you want to do one at a time, okay, because you want to be able to stitch that down, come back and put this for your 1/4 inch, okay. You want to be able to trim here, get rid of this, and then this will open up. That way you're not losing your block, you're just creating another part of the block. And then we're going to lay this one right on top of here. So see how it's got to overlap here. And you want to make sure that that bottom piece is trimmed off before you're trying to add this piece on here. And then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to stitch here. You're going to measure for your 1/4 inch, trim this piece off. So now one side of it, you're going to have your 1/4 or your arrow there, okay? And you're going to do the exact same thing on the other side with your letter H. Okay, so you're going to draw your diagonal. That's going to go here because it's going to fold up on both sides, just like this. Just like we did with the gray, you're going to do it over here with the red or whatever color you're using, so that we create this piece. When you do get this piece all done, and you need to make 4 of these, it needs to measure 5 by 7 1/4 inches. Okay, so 5 by 7 1/4 inches. I'll set that one aside. So now we have this block, this block, this block, and this block all together. And the other pieces that we have left are just our single pieces, which is our letter B. Okay, and so that's just going to lay right next to the block that we just created. We have 4 of those, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? And we're gonna just lay that right on top, and this will flip over so that you can stitch that together. And you're going to do that with each one of these pieces that we just made here. So you've got one that's gonna go here, one that's gonna go here, one that's gonna go here, and one that's going to go here. Once you have those connected, then you're going to have, let me cover this up so it kind of, you can see it. There's the first block we made. This is the middle block we made that we just added the rectangle piece to, and then the other block that we had already created. And you're going to do just like you've done on all of these other blocks. You're going to take and flip this over to this middle piece, and you're going to stitch, you're going to press, and then lay it back down, bring it over, put this over here, you're going to stitch, you're going to press, and then down here you're going to have this piece, and you're going to have this piece, and you're going to take your last 5-inch piece to put in the center, and you're going to bring all this over to stitch here and press. You're going to bring this over, stitch down here, and press. And we're going to repeat what we just did up here. And then you're going to have the 3 strips, and you're going to bring this one. Make sure that you're matching up your seams. You need to make sure, like I said, I have my girls helping me with this, and they're not matching up very well, but like I said, we're just going to keep moving on with it. But if you follow what I have been saying all along, and they did not, when they press over to the sides. I always press mine open, which makes it a whole lot easier to be able to line up these seams. So if you can try to line those up the best that you can, and go ahead and you're going to do 1 big long stitch here and 1 big long stitch here, and you are going to be good to go. Here we will have create a memory. Okay, so this is our block number 9. Our block number 10, I think our Miss Judy is working on that for me, and that one is called Baking with Family. And I'm not sure, hopefully you can see this, but this is what this block looks like. Block number 10, Baking with Family. So we will try to get that all done, and like I said, I'm trying to get a lot of different blocks all done so we can just get this completed before Thanksgiving. Hold on just a second here. All right, we now are completely done with our block number 9, like I said, and I will bring block number 10 to you. We've got 3 left. Again, hallelujah. And we don't have any drawings this week because I went ahead and did this video before anyone had a chance to create their blocks number 8. Is that right? 9? Yeah, block number 8. So we will have another drawing. We're going to go ahead and post them the same way that we usually do, and then I will just do a drawing from from those names. So it's not that everybody's going to miss out. Go ahead and still post your blocks the same, and I will go ahead and make sure that names get recorded, and we'll go ahead and draw the name at that time, okay? So until next week, I will go ahead and post on Friday what the measurements are for those of you that do not have the book, and that way you can try to prepare a little sooner. And I think that's about it, guys, since I feel kind of lost now that I don't have any names to draw or anything. So you know, like I said, just bear with me with this. I'm trying so hard. There's just so much coming up, and I keep saying, yeah, you're probably right. I shouldn't have done this so close to the holidays. So next year, we're going to make sure that maybe we kind of stop in September. That's like the end of our different videos that we do for the quilts. So until next week, guys, take care, and we'll see you soon. Make sure to stop in and say hi. See ya.